Welcome to 2026. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here for this explainer. Listen, if you want to understand how to actually earn money today, the very first thing you've got to realize is that the old rules, they just don't apply anymore. You are not going to get rich simply by renting out your time. Imagine that traditional, ticking grandfather clock of the 9-to-5 workday just shattering into a million lines of digital code. That's what we're talking about. We need to completely rewire how you think about your time, your skills, and the economy itself to build what I call a truly invisible empire. Think about it. If your inputs are directly tied to your outputs, you're basically stuck on a gray, exhausting treadmill. The exact moment you stop running, whether you go on vacation, get sick, or retire, your income completely stops too. But the new ideal? It's about earning while you sleep. Picture a sleek, humming server room processing data with these glowing blue lights while you're peacefully asleep in a hammock. That's the goal. Building a digital robot army of assets and computer programs that generate value 24/7, totally detached from your physical labor. Now, to escape that time for money trap, we really have to get our definitions straight. People constantly mix up wealth, money, and status. Status, well, that's just an ancient zero-sum game of social ranking humans have played since our hunter-gatherer days. You definitely want to avoid playing that. And money is simply social credit, right? Just an IOU from society to transfer value. But wealth is what you actually want. Wealth is the factory of robots cranking out products, the assets earning for you while you sleep. And the ultimate purpose of that wealth isn't to buy flashy luxury goods. It's to buy your absolute freedom. Act 1. The economic machine and navigating the macroeconomy. To build these amazing assets, you first have to understand the machine you're operating inside. And sure, the macroeconomy might seem incredibly complex, but picture it like a giant interconnected steampunk machine. It's actually driven by simple transactions repeated billions of times. Ray Dalio shows us this machine is governed by productivity growth and two distinct credit-driven debt cycles. You've got the short-term debt cycle, which spans about 5 to 8 years, and is managed by central banks tweaking interest rates. And then, slowly compounding in the background, is the long-term debt cycle, spanning 75 to 100 years, which ultimately peaks when debt burdens outgrow incomes. The most volatile gear in this whole machine is credit. When credit fuels overconsumption that can't be paid back, it leads to a lot of economic suffering. But when used efficiently, it fuels massive growth. So how do you survive this machine? Dalio gives us 3 absolutely crucial rules of thumb. 1, do not let your debt rise faster than your income. 2, do not let your income rise faster than your productivity. And 3, and this is the big one, do absolutely all you can to raise your productivity. Because in the long run, that is literally all that matters. Act 2, the new leverage in multiplying your output. So we know we need to drastically raise our productivity, right? But how? The answer is leverage. Leverage is your ultimate force multiplier. Now, historically, leverage meant labor, getting people to work for you, or capital, getting people to give you money. But both of those are permissioned forms of leverage. Somebody actually has to decide to follow you or fund you. Today, though, the biggest fortunes are being made through permissionless leverage. We're talking about code and media. You don't need a single person's permission to open your laptop, write some software, record a podcast, or create a video. And what is truly staggering about this is the sheer scale. Code and media have 0 marginal cost of reproduction. That means creating a second copy or a 2 millionth copy of your software or your video is entirely free. Picture hundreds of digital clones popping out of your screen, delivering digital packages all over the world. You're multiplying your efforts infinitely without having to involve other humans. You're literally creating an automated robot army that works for you 24/7. Act 3, specific knowledge and escaping the competition. All right, here is the million-dollar question. What exactly should you build with all this new leverage? Well, if you just copy what everyone else is doing, you're going to be replaced by an algorithm. Naval Ravikant brilliantly frames it like this. What feels like play to you, but looks like work to others? That question right there is your compass. It points you toward your specific knowledge. This is knowledge found on the bleeding edge of tech and art. You can't learn it in a traditional school because if society can train you to do it, it can eventually program a computer to replace you. You find it by pursuing your genuine, innate curiosity. Paul Graham has this fantastic quote that perfectly captures how to use that curiosity. He says, "Knowledge expands fractally. Many discoveries have come from asking questions about things that everyone else took for granted." Imagine your brain filled with these unique, glowing puzzle pieces. When you follow your specific obsession, you reach the absolute frontier of a field. From far away, that frontier looks totally smooth, but up close, it's full of gaps. Discovering and filling those specific gaps is where the magic happens. It's about ignoring empty societal conformity and asking those weird, niche questions that everyone else just walks right past. And speaking of conformity, we really have to talk about this stark reality. Earl Nightingale famously pointed out that only about 5% of people actually achieve true financial independence. The other 95%? They remain financially stressed. Why is that? It's because they scatter their focus on societal expectations. They play those empty status games we talked about earlier. Blindly conforming doesn't just make you average, it practically guarantees you're going to miss out on true independence. So what's the ultimate solution? You escape competition entirely through authenticity. Because the internet connects literally everyone on the planet, that web will search out and connect your specific puzzle pieces with millions of other users. You can scale almost any niche obsession. No one can compete with you on just being you. If you combine that unique, authentic knowledge with real accountability, meaning you take business risks under your own name, society will reward you with equity. Act 4. The Psychology of Wealth and Protecting the Empire. Now, you can understand the entire economic machine and have all the leverage in the world, but listen to me, none of it matters if you lose your head when the markets get turbulent. Morgan Housel uses this fascinating comparison. Think about Jim Simons, an absolutely brilliant quant who averaged a staggering 66% annual return. Insane, right? Then look at Warren Buffett, who averaged much lower returns, around 21%. Yet Buffett is vastly wealthier. Why? Because Buffett has been patiently compounding his money for over 80 years. Financial success is way less about mathematical sophistication and almost entirely about a massively long timeline of emotional control. Which brings us to the ultimate wealth equation. Wealth equals returns to the power of time. Time is the true exponent here. What this means is that patience is, without a single doubt, your greatest asset. You don't need to chase massive, super risky returns if you can simply harness the exponential power of time through steady, rational behavior. To actually protect this compounding wealth, Housel offers 3 behavioral rules. First up, keep your financial goalposts from moving. If your desires grow faster than your income, you will never, ever feel wealthy. Second, avoid FOMO, the fear of missing out, entirely. Panic and envy are the absolute worst enemies of compounding. And third, orient everything you do around securing personal autonomy, because avoiding panic during a giant market crash is just as important as generating returns during a massive boom. All right, let's tie this whole explainer together into a core blueprint. Your absolute directive going forward is to productize yourself. Yourself means your specific knowledge and your uncopyable authenticity. Productize means applying that permissionless leverage, the code and the media. When you do this, remember, your ultimate goal isn't to buy flashy luxury goods. It's to buy your absolute freedom, so you completely control how you spend every waking moment of your life. I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought. Take a hard look at your own life right now. What specific knowledge are you hiding from the world? And more importantly, when are you going to step off that treadmill, stop renting out your time, and finally let your robot army start building your invisible empire? The tools are quite literally all around you. It's time to get building. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.